topic, ladies and gentlemen, Dorian Mode, or Dorian Minor. There's something very special you need to know about this mode. Also, I'm going to throw in a little bonus Dorian. You guys will appreciate this. All right, let's get to it. All right, this is an intermediate level lesson, so I'm not going to go into the breakdown of how a Dorian scale is formed with whole steps and half steps. I'm not going to do all of that in this video. So let's get straight to it. Dorian mode has a real nice advantage in that it has a lot of safe notes. Now, they're not all that safe, but we say that every note of the Dorian scale is a safe note. Unlike in major, the perfect fourth is a problem. That's what people call an avoid note. The best way I can describe an avoid note is what note changes the function of the chord. So Dorian is minor. So is there a note that you can play in the Dorian scale that will change its function from minor to something else? And the answer is no. So these notes are relatively safe. They only have a certain level of dissonance to the most dissonant notes. All right, so the most dissonant note is going to be the one that you're going to need to play to really establish that it's Dorian mode, which is the major sixth. So in the key of, let's say in the key of D minor, yeah, so the natural sixth on a D Dorian is going to be the B natural. If you just hang on this note against a D minor, it sounds a little funny. It doesn't fit quite as well as the other notes, but it's still what we call a safe note, unlike a perfect fourth on a major. Let's hear what that sounds like. So because it is the sixth, you will often use Dorian mode with a minor 6 or even a minor 6/9, which brings me to the other thing, that little bonus thing that I wanted to talk to you about. In jazz, we have modes of the major scale, and then we have modes of the melodic minor scale. And when we talk about melodic minor in jazz, we're only ever talking about the ascending version of the scale. In jazz, we call this melodic minor, but actually it's not. And we probably should do away with this terminology. And for this video and probably the rest of the videos that I make in the future where I'm talking about this, I'm going to call it something different. I'm going to call it a Dorian Major 7, because that is exactly what it is. So the modes of a melodic minor, you can derive all these different kinds of scales and sounds that help to establish the jazz language. So let's do a slight depart and let's focus on Dorian Major 7. So what is a Dorian Major 7? Well, that would be your D ascending version of melodic minor. So a D jazz melodic minor is going to be D, E, F, G, A, B, C sharp, D. So you see how we have a Dorian scale with a major 7. So I'm just going to call this a Dorian Major 7. And guess what? Just like with Dorian, every note is safe. With a Dorian Major 7, this jazz melodic minor, every note is safe. Sometimes when you run into a minor 6 or even a minor 6/9, you will hear this Dorian Major 7 scale used. It's a really nice sound and you hear it all the time. I also have Altissimo lessons on how to play those scales because they go hand in hand with learning the modes of major and learning the modes of the jazz melodic minor. You can check that out. I'll post the link. Okay, so let's take a listen to what that sounds like. If you want a really good example of somebody using this Dorian Major 7, listen to John Coltrane's solo on Mr. PC. It's fantastic. It's one of my favorite Coltrane solos by far. Okay, let's move on. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's go back to regular Dorian mode. I want to introduce a bebop scale. It's usually a minor bebop scale that is the cause for controversy. In short, a bebop scale is really just an 8-note balanced scale. You want to balance it because there's a certain harmonic rhythm that is implied whenever you're using any type of scale or whenever you're playing music. Adding an extra passing tone can help to balance this out. Now, there's generally 2 places you can do this. So in, let's say, concert D minor, we're in Dorian here, you can add a passing tone between the 7th and the root. The other place to add a chromatic passing tone is between the minor 3rd and the perfect 4th. In other words, use the major 3rd as a chromatic passing tone. I prefer the second one. Why? Okay. For me, the second one does more to establish the sound of minor, because in any minor chord, the worst note you can play is the major 3rd. Remember what I talked about earlier in this video? The avoid notes change the function of the chord. So playing a major 3rd against a minor radically changes that. However, using it as a passing tone is very, very effective at reinforcing the sound of minor. Now, when you do that, obviously you need to be careful. You need to be more careful using that one than you do the first bebop, or the first 8-note balance scale, where we basically add a note between the flat 7th and the root. Adding a passing tone there is a lot less risky, because even if I add a major 7, which brings us to our Dorian Major 7, it's still minor and it's still safe. Another bonus of using the major 3rd as a chromatic passing tone is that very often that Dorian minor is going to go up a perfect 4th to a mixolydian, which will be the 5 chord. Very often that Dorian is the 2 chord. So that 2 wants to go to 5, which is going to be dominant. And your dominant 7 bebop, or 8-note balance scale, is going to have the passing tone between the flat 7th and the root. And it's the same scale. Listen. All right, so again, we talked about the importance of the avoid note. So with a mixolydian scale, the worst note you can play is a major 7th on that dominant 7. But listen to how effective it is as a chromatic passing tone. So why not use that same logic as a chromatic passing tone for the minor scale that comes before it? I mixed it up a bit there. Sorry to get too fancy, but you hear what I'm saying. Okay, let's move on. Dorian, very, very common mode that we use in jazz a lot, and you must understand how this is done. Okay, I hope that Dorian Major 7 thing helps shine some light on that. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we still got some more modes of the major scale coming up, so stay tuned. See ya.